Good evening and welcome to the virtual open house for the SmartTrack St. Clair Old Weston GO Station. My name is Nil Coach and I work for Metrolinx. I'm the Senior Manager for Community Engagement for GO Expansion Stations, and it's my pleasure to be your moderator for this evening's event. As you're looking at your screen, you're going to note that this event is being closed captioned, so turn on your closed captioning if you need it by clicking on the CC icon button on your video player. We've scheduled this meeting to last 1.5 hours. It's going to start with some opening remarks from our special guests. We have Deputy Mayor Anna Bailão and Councillor Nunziata on the line. I'll just note that MPP Stiles was planning to attend this evening's open house as well, but she was called away to an urgent debate at Queen's Park. She does have staff on the line and she's going to try to join the meeting later on. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Mayor Anna Bailão to give some opening remarks. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you to all of you that have joined us this evening. I had the opportunity to join a different community just last week in Davenport. I feel we're lucky to have 3 SmartTrack stations being planned, and so this is the second meeting we're having tonight, particularly to talk about the one on St. Clair. Last week we had the opportunity to talk about the King Liberty, and next week we'll be talking about the Lauren Lansdowne one. And we're excited because for many years, decades, we've been living with these tracks. We've been hearing about some improvements that would be happening to have more service on these lines, and very often people would say, you know, let's make sure we can get on those trains as well. And so the SmartTrack project, it's all about that. It's all about ensuring that the residents in these communities are also going to be able to take advantage of the services on the lines, have access to more transit, and have access to revitalizing some of the communities. And in particularly the St. Clair and Old Weston Road is a community that will be under a lot of revitalization. There's a lot of employment lands that now are sitting vacant in that area. It's a great opportunity to bring more neighbors to the neighborhood, to bring more community services to the neighborhood, and more transit with the neighborhood. I'm also particularly excited because this project would also see the construction of the St. Clair Transportation Master Plan, which we know we've had several meetings in the community about this. We know that there is congestion and traffic that needs to be addressed in this neighborhood, and we're addressing it 2 ways. We're addressing it with more transit, that's the SmartTrack station, giving more transit opportunities, but also with the Transportation Master Plan, which you'll hear about it once again, what it means, which will be facilitating and make it easier for people in cars, in cycling, and pedestrians to move around in our neighborhoods. As you know, we've also been doing a St. Clair planning study because we know that the development is coming to our neighborhood. So we want to make sure that we get ahead of that development, that we plan our community property, that we have complete communities, that we have jobs, that we have housing, and that we have the community services close to the transit that we're all investing in. So I'm very excited to hear your feedback as well tonight, and excited to be here to bring more transit to Davenport. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We also have Councillor Nunziata on the phone. Councillor, are you there? Councillor Nunziata, are you there? And you might need to unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. And I want to welcome everyone to tonight's virtual meeting. And we do have representatives from Metrolinx in the City of Toronto, which will give a short presentation and be available to answer your questions. The SmartTrack Stations program is a collaboration between the Province of Ontario, City of Toronto, and Metrolinx. And as Councillor Bailão mentioned, this is very exciting news for the community. My ward is just west of the tracks, and as Councillor Bailão mentioned, we do have a transportation plan that we're working on, and there's a number of vacant land in that area where we've received a number of development applications for conversion from employment to residential. And so that area is really exciting. There's been a lot of development in the past, and it's really important to have transit in that area, which we've been lacking for many, many years. And with the transportation plan, I think that will also assist with the traffic that we have along St. Clair Avenue and Guns Road and Davenport Road. So this is a very exciting project for the community, and I'm very excited to hear the presentation as well as to hear from the public on what their questions are. So I welcome everyone to tonight's meeting, and please, if you have any questions and concerns, please ask when it opens up for questions and answers. And Councillor Bailão mentioned everything that I was going to say, so we're ready to go. And thank you, and I'll pass it back on to staff for the presentation.
Thank you, and so thank you to our elected officials for joining us this evening. Next, I'd like to share a land acknowledgement. Could we have slide number 2, please? Thank you. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Next slide, please. Both Metrolinx and the City of Toronto, we take safety very seriously, and as such, we like to begin our meetings with a reflection on a safety moment. So I thought today we'd take a look at some tips related to knowing your exits, which seems like a simple thing, but I think in an emergency, it's something that can really save lives. So on your screen, I've posted a couple tips about how to be prepared and stay safe. I'll just read a couple of them, but it's always a good idea to take a look around when you enter a new place and find your exits. Know that the best way in that you entered may not be the best way out. Planning ahead and letting visitors know, visitors to your work or to your home know where the exits are when they arrive. It really allows you to stay calm and collected during an actual emergency. So thank you for that. Can I have the next slide, please? This is our agenda for the evening. So we're starting with some opening remarks. We're going to move to a presentation about the St. Clair Old Weston GO Station. And then we're going to have question and answers, and we're looking to wrap up this meeting at 8 p.m. So here's some quick guidance about how to navigate on the Metrolinx Engage page. So we're about to have the presentation, and you can follow along on your screen. But you can also click on the presentation materials link below and download the slide deck for your reference later on. If you scroll down the page, you're going to see that there's a number of submitted written questions. Take a minute and scroll through and upload any of the questions that you'd like to see answered. We like to say great minds think alike, right? So before you ask a question, see if it's already been asked. And upvoted instead, because we're going to answer the questions in the order of most votes. Once we get through the written questions, you may wish to ask a verbal question live, and you can do that by joining the Zoom room. Click on the yellow Join Zoom button, and that will take you over to the Zoom room. My colleague, Dennis Amoa Kahini, is moderating in that room, and so when we get to the verbal questions, raise your hand, and he'll recognize you and turn on your microphone when it's your turn to ask a question. We ask that you keep your questions brief and only ask one question at a time so that as many people as possible have a chance to participate. You can write out additional questions on the Engage page because we might not get to every single question during the meeting, but we are committed to responding to all the written questions that are submitted on the website afterwards. And just another reminder, if you've just joined us, this meeting is being closed captioned. Turn on your closed captioning by clicking on the CC icon that's in the lower right corner of your video player. Could I have the next slide, 5? So the purpose of this meeting, of this open house meeting, is to update the community about the SmartTrack Station program, to continue our engagement with the community as we move into the design and construction phase of the project, and to share some early detailed design concepts for the SmartTrack St. Clair Old Weston GO Station specifically. So I'm going to introduce our panel for this evening. So if I can have the panel on the screen. We have quite a large panel. I'll start with the City of Toronto. From Transit Expansion Office, David Bruto, Senior Project Manager. Alliston Meistrich from Transit Implementation and City Planning. Edward Presta, Senior Project Manager, Transportation Services and Capital Projects and Programs. Anthony Irving, Stakeholder and Community Relations in the Transit Expansion Office. And from Metrolinx, Gretel Green, Manager, Environmental Programs and Assessments. Julie Chatton, Project Manager, Stations and Capital Delivery. Krista Eichenbaum from our, who's a Senior Advisor in our SmartTrack Station Sponsors Office. Myself, Nilgün Erkoç, I'm Senior Manager of Community Engagement, and I'm also your moderator for the evening. And last but not least, from For Transit, our Technical Advisor, we have David Hopper, Senior Transportation Engineer. And I don't think I missed anyone. So that's kind of the rundown of this evening. We've gotten through the kind of guidance piece. I'm going to hand it over to Anthony to begin our presentation. Anthony.
Thank you, Nilgün. Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Irving. I'm in the Transit Expansion Office at the City of Toronto. Thank you for joining us tonight. Next slide, please. The SmartTrack Stations program will improve transportation choices within Toronto by leveraging existing transit infrastructure to serve more people. Combined with Metrolinx's GO expansion program, SmartTrack will transform heavy rail infrastructure in Toronto from a regional commuter service into an urban rapid transit network. Next slide, please. With 5 additional stations, all-day two-way service, increased frequency, and quieter and faster trains, SmartTrack will expand transit access for Toronto residents traveling within and beyond the city. Another benefit is the network effect and the opportunities that come with a strong, more flexible transit system with seamless connections across neighborhoods and communities, more frequent service, and more new stations like SmartTrack stations. SmartTrack stations, along with other important transit projects such as the Ontario Line, Eglinton Crosstown, Finch LRT, increase transit users' choices, provide more reliable route options that meet travel needs from work to shopping, recreation, and social trips. Next slide, please. SmartTrack will provide access to fast, safe, and reliable transit and offer earlier transit expansion solutions while the province's subway program, like the Ontario Line, the Scarborough Subway Extension, and the Eglinton Crosstown West Extension and the Yonge North Subway Extension is constructed. Service improvements from SmartTrack will provide walkable access to rail service for 83,000 residents and 91,000 jobs. The 5 new stations are projected to bring approximately 110,000 new daily riders by 2031 to the rail network and reduce congestion on the roads and emissions throughout the region. Next slide, please. And with the program history, back in October 2019, as part of the Ontario-Toronto Transit Partnership Agreement, the city and province committed to advance the SmartTrack Stations program. Earlier this year in February, Toronto City Council approved the updated terms, which went into the agreement in principle to advance the SmartTrack Stations program. And then this past summer in August, the city and the province signed a revised agreement in principle, making a full endorsement of the 5 new stations in Toronto. And now today, procurement is underway and is expected to be awarded in 2022. And the stations are targeted to be operational by 2026. Next slide, please. And with that, I'd like to get in depth on the station here at St. Clair and Old Weston, and I'd like to hand it over to David Hopper, who will walk you through that.
Great, thank you, Vincent. Could I have the next slide, please? So just to get ourselves oriented here, the station, St. Clair Old Weston, named after the two streets, so it's easy for us to figure out where all the stations are, is just north of St. Clair Avenue, which we can see running east, left to right towards the bottom of the screen. The station area is in green. So we'll have the 4 tracks through the area. They're all served by platforms. We'll have a bus loop in the main station entrance on the east side. We have Weston Road and Keele Street to the left-hand side to the west of us. Union Street is immediately to the right, and then Old Weston Road is 1 block further over than that. So that gives us a bit of context here. We are looking at reorganizing some of the transit routes to serve the station, and obviously connection to the streetcar route is also important. Go to the next slide, please. So as was mentioned earlier today, the site does have some underused industrial lands and commercial lands. So we can see off of Union Street, the area is fairly open. We're going to take advantage of some of those lands in order to create the new station, as well as create connections to and from St. Clair and to other streets that were also being constructed as part of the transportation master plan, being bundled with the station construction. Could I have the next slide, please? So this is a rendering of the thoughts for the station today. So it's a 1-story building on Union Street, just north of St. Clair Avenue. This will be the main station building with a plaza and main point of arrival. It will also be the anchor for the bus loop that is being built, which will not only serve local TTC routes, but also have a dedicated stop for Wheel-Trans service. There'll be 2 side platforms and 1 island platform to serve the 4 tracks, and 2 tunnels that connect across from the station buildings out to the rail corridor. So both will be fully accessible, as will all the elements of the station. So will there be an elevator and a stair from this main building down under the tracks to the 3 platforms. And as well, there will be an access at the north end of the bus loop, our secondary access, which will also provide access to the 3 platforms. Go to the next slide, please. In addition to those entrances, we're also looking at a connection out from the north end of the west platform out towards the intersection of Guns Road and Weston Road. The work that's going to be involved here includes some grading and drainage. There will be upgrades from the existing noise wall to a crash wall, as well as some additional noise walls. There'll be some utility relocation. And we're also not only designing this for today, but we're designing it for the future. So we're looking at how it could integrate with development sites that are either potential development sites or actively under development consideration, as well as making sure that the transportation master plan elements are well integrated so that we have a complete community in this area. Can I have the next slide, please? So looking at this plan in a little more detail, we start in the upper left. We can see a connection out to Guns Road. The intention is for that to be an enclosed connection just north of the townhouse complex, coming up to the north end of the west platform. We can see the 3 blue platforms serving the 4 tracks. There's also a gray tunnel crossing underneath to the red building on the right-hand side and out the bus loop. That will not only serve for people to access the station for both east and west, but also be a through connection for the local community to connect Lavender Trail to the west and the Sadra Trail to the east. The bus loop, which we can see on the right-hand side, has been sized by the TTC to service the local routes, as well as extending the route that currently serves the Townsley loop in here so that we provide better connections. At the south end of that, the red triangle, is the main station building that we saw a moment or so ago on the rendering. So it will be the main station plaza and the main entry into the building. At the south end, the grade separation or the railway bridge where the rail tracks go over top of St. Clair Avenue will be completely replaced. As well, we are looking at connections from the west platform at the south end, just adjacent to the townhouse complex, coming directly out to the north sidewalk on St. Clair. And we're also protecting for a connection to cross the bridge to the south side and are willing to work with the private developer there to facilitate a connection on that side. Can I have the next slide, please? In working on this station, we're also looking to bundle a number of the transportation master plan elements that are in here. It makes sense to do them at the same time, as the major element is the widening of St. Clair Avenue, and that's tied to the replacement of the rail bridge, which is needed both for the station and for the road widening. Today, St. Clair is a 4-lane roadway. In fact, it's 2 streetcar lanes and 2 car lanes. The intention is to widen it to 6 lanes so that we can have 2 traffic lanes in each direction, as well as improve service for the railway. Can I have the next slide, please? So this is a rendering of the widened St. Clair Avenue. Because of the townhouses in the northwest corner and some buildings on the northeast corner, including the historic Hayden House at the corner of Old Weston Road, the north sidewalk will remain where it is, and all of the widening will occur to the south side of St. Clair Avenue. So this will provide improved sidewalks through here. We can also see in this picture, just before we get to the railway bridge, there's the extension of Davenport Road, which will be a new road bridge spanning over St. Clair. And we will be providing ramps and stairs to connect from St. Clair Avenue up to Davenport Road on both sides. The connection of the sidewalk along Davenport Road will also then connect to the right up to Union Street and connect into the main station entrance. Can I have the next slide, please? We're also going to be bundling in the extension of Davenport Road from its current terminus at Old Weston Road through to the west, swinging up around, paralleling the CP rail corridor and the Metrolinx rail corridor to a new road bridge spanning over top of St. Clair Avenue and tying into the south end of Union Street right at the intersection of Townsley. Go to the next slide, please. The extension of Davenport Road along Union Street will also tie into Union Street, which will be improved and will allow a connection up to an extension of Guns Road. So in this image, we can see an extension of Guns Road from Weston Road easterly, dives down about 1.5 meters and goes underneath the rail corridor and then climbs back up to connect at the north end of Union Street. We can see in this photograph on the right-hand side or the south side of the street is a multi-use pathway as well as a pedestrian sidewalk. This facility will carry on from Lavender Creek to the west of Guns Road and Weston Road through the Guns Road extension to Union Street, south on Union Street, and then south on the Davenport extension all the way down to Old Weston Road, where it will connect into an on-street extension of the West Toronto Rail Path. So we are looking at active transportation improvements as well as pedestrian improvements as well as road improvements in this area and bundling it all together so that it's all done in a cohesive manner. Can I have the next slide, please? So this photo is a larger area zoom. So we can see here, we see the station in the middle with the 2 red station buildings and the orange bus loop. So we can see the extension of Davenport Road in the lower right, coming up along the rail corridor, spanning over St. Clair. Improvements to Union Street from Townsley all the way up to where it meets the Guns Road extension, and that carries on further west and down underneath the rail corridor through the Guns Road underpass, connecting out to Guns and Weston and then over to Lavender Creek Trail. So in all, this is meant to do most of the transportation master plan works. The one element that's not included but will be protected for is a future extension of Keele Street from its current terminus down to tie into Guns Road. Can I have the next slide, please? So I think we now move on to the environmental assessment. I'd like to pass this over to Gretel Green. Thank you.
Thanks, David. It's hard to go after you. You sound like you have this all down pat. So I'm Gretel Green. I'm the manager for the environmental section for this project to ensure environmental compliance. So I'm just going to go over a few slides quickly to go over that. I know it's been a lot of information, and as Nilgen said in the beginning, there's lots of time for you guys to ask questions about things that we've sort of glossed over fast, but we want to give you time for that, so bear with us. The environmental assessment for the Smart Track St. Clair Weston GO Station was completed in 2018 in accordance with the Ontario Regulation 230-108, which is called the Transit Project Assessment Process, or what we call the TPAP. During both the pre-TPAP and TPAP phases of public stakeholder consultation and engagement, there was over 630 people who attended 6 public meetings and 110 people attended 10 stakeholder advisory group meetings, comprised of residents and representatives from a broad range of stakeholder interests, including community, neighborhoods, business, and institutions. In addition to these meetings, the City of Toronto and Metrolinx maintained project websites and encouraged public and stakeholder input via email and phone. As we enter into this new phase of the project, our engagement efforts continue with this early phase of the open house, and we'll continue to communicate with these communities as well. Environmental commitments identified in the TPAP and those outlined in subsequent due diligence studies are and will be addressed through the design and construction phases. The project may also incorporate elements of the City of Toronto St. Clair Avenue West area, that's a big mouthful, transportation master plan, which were approved as part of a separate 2019 municipal class EA due diligence studies. Identified in that EA will also be complied with. Next slide, please. So during the 2018 track TPAP, properties were identified and assessed for cultural heritage value or interest within or adjacent to the station. The St. Clair Avenue West Rail Bridge and overpass shown on the right were identified as a provincial heritage property. A heritage impact assessment was completed in 2021 to assess impacts and identify appropriate mitigation. And sorry, I should say that the bridge is on the right, is the picture on the right, to identify appropriate mitigation measures to address impacts to the bridge. The St. Clair Avenue West Bridge and overpass will be demolished to accommodate the widening of St. Clair Avenue West from 4 to 6 lanes as part of the TMP works. A heritage impact assessment, the HIA, the Heritage Impact Assessment, recommended completion of a cultural heritage resource documentation report. Very complicated, this cultural heritage. An exploration of commemorative strategies. So it looks at how do we document and keep it, how do we remember this structure that was built a long time ago? This report will be completed and will include detailed photo documentation of all the bridge's heritage attributes. It will also provide recommendations for commemorative strategies, such as the salvaging of the bridge materials and commemorative signage. The TMPEA environmental due diligence is also being initiated. Cultural heritage resources, such as the Hayden House shown on the left, that have potential to be affected by the St. Clair Avenue West Transportation Master Plan, or TMP, are being assessed and mitigation measures will be identified. For example, measures to protect the building from indirect impacts such as vibrations will be identified and mitigated. Next slide. Okay, one everyone cares about. So noise and vibration and air quality impacts from the operation of the proposed project were assessed during the EA in 2018. Before construction starts, and the contractor will develop construction assessments and management plans for in construction phases of development. They will identify sensitive receivers and zones of influence around the project based on what their construction footprint is and the materials and machines they use. Activities will be identified through construction-specific assessments that could impact noise, vibration, and air quality on the receivers, which are your homes and businesses. These reports will include construction air quality management plan, construction noise and vibration management plans. The project will follow applicable law, standards, and Metrolinx guidelines that set limits for noise exposure, etc. During construction, best management practices will include things like the use of the most efficient equipment and tools to ensure that are ensured to be in good working order. They will adhere to applicable laws, standards, and guidelines. We will also, be installing erosion and sediment controls to control dust, such as street sweepers, water trucks, entrance mud mats, things like that. Monitoring to ensure that they are complying is continuous and simultaneous for air quality and noise when work is near one of those sensitive receivers. Metrolinx will receive real-time email alerts of any exceedances of air quality and noise. During operations, there is a slightly raised contamination concentration for air quality due to acceleration, deceleration, and total travel times throughout the station of 1%. Noise and vibration. With electrified trains, the station is not anticipated to experience an increase in noise levels. Vibration levels during operations are generally expected to decrease due to the decrease in train pass-by speed. Basically, the train will be slowing down to stop at the station. Incorporating noise mitigation that were identified through the EAs is being assessed at this time, and the interim train diesel conditions are being assessed as well, and implementations to reduce noises are being identified. Next slide, 2 left. And so a portion of the noise wall on the west side of the Kitchener GO rail corridor will be removed to facilitate construction. When works are completed, new noise walls will be reconstructed, and design will ensure that the current requirements for noise mitigation, including absorption, are incorporated. The height of the wall is based on the spatial relationship between source and receptor, as well as local topography on built form. So that will progress with design. And as said before, we are electrifying as part of the GO expansion. We're laying about approximately 200 kilometers of new track will be installed, and over 600 kilometers of track will be electrified in the coming years. Construction will start by the end of 2023, and to reduce impacts to and around while that is starting and while that's occurring over the next few years, Metrolinx is committed to installing exhaust noise silencers on existing and future Metrolinx diesel locomotives, which will decrease the sound from these trains by 3 dB, which is actually a noticeable decrease in sound. There are a total of 56 locomotives that require this modification, and 30 have already been done. And we're estimating that approximately 3 per month will occur, and that we should be done by the third quarter of 2022. We're also reducing engine idling times to mitigate sound noise. Next slide. Traffic impacts. So to address traffic impacts during construction, and I live down by Lakeshore, and there's a lot of traffic. Due to construction, but a traffic management plan will be prepared and carried out during the construction period. The traffic management plan will include measures such as advanced closures, detour and advisory signs, maintaining traffic control and flagging personnel as required, issuance of notices to adjacent residents, and ensuring of all residents and commercial properties remain accessible throughout. That's a big priority for Metrolinx. And traffic management measures will be continuously monitored during construction activities and adjusted as necessary. During operations, this is one of those good news stories. In 2018, a transportation impact study was completed, which indicated that a minimal number of auto trips will be generated by the station and is not anticipated to have a traffic impact. The station does not include parking spaces or formal passenger pickup and drop-off areas. We do have accessible pickup and drop-off areas as planned for Wheel-Trans and paratransit. But there is expected to be an increase in pedestrian cycling flow along the sidewalks near the station. And the St. Clair Avenue West, the TMP, the improvements around the St. Clair area for the traffic, for the roads, will improve overall transportation flows throughout the neighborhood surrounding the station. And I think there's just one more slide. So next one. And this one's closer to my heart, but in a 2018 tree inventory plan identified where tree removals and injuries would be required to accommodate the new station and associated construction work. An updated arborist report will refine tree impacts based on the current station design. Tree removal and injury permits will be obtained by the City of Toronto for all affected private and city-owned trees. Trees adjacent to construction activities will be protected with tree hoarding. Compensation for all removed trees compensation for all removed trees, which includes replanting of new native trees and shrubs, will occur in accordance with the City of Toronto's bylaws. You may have noticed that some trees have been removed within the Metrolinx owned lands, or what we call a right-of-way, for the GO Expansion Electrification Project Early Works Program. And compensation for those trees, as well as any trees on Metrolinx land removed for the station project, will follow the Metrolinx vegetation guideline. Landscape plans will be developed as design progresses to replant as many native trees and shrubs in the area as possible. Replanting of private tree removals for construction will be coordinated with impacted property owners. And that's a good summary of what we have so far, and happy to answer any questions at the end. Nilgün?
Thanks, Gretel. Sorry, could we have the next slide? So thank you to everyone for all our presenters. I just wanted to bring up the slide about how to contact us. So again, this is a partnership primarily between Metrolinx and the City of Toronto. And at Metrolinx, we have our Toronto West Community Relations Office. That's our email and phone number. If you have any questions or concerns, you can email or give us a phone call. I would also encourage people to sign up for the Toronto West Weekly e-Blast newsletter. You could do that by going to metrolinx.com/subscribe. I also have a link here to our Engage page, which will remain up. And then our Smart Track Go Station webpage on our main site at metrolinx.com/Smart Track. And there you'll see a page dedicated to each of the Smart Track stations, including the one we're talking about this evening, St. Clair Old Weston. From the City of Toronto side, there is also the Transit in Toronto contact information. So there's the email and phone number there. The City of Toronto also has a Smart Track page at toronto.ca/Smart Track. And there you're going to find more kind of less station specific information and more information about the Smart Track stations program generally. Either way, both of those sites have links to each other. So you should be able, whichever website you go to, you should be able to navigate to the other website with relative ease. So with that, we'll end the presentation. Thank you very much. And this is great timing because I see that the MPP is just joining us, and we'll give her a minute to settle in. And I'll just remind you guys that we're about to move to the question and answer period. And what we're going to do is take the submitted questions first below, and then we will move to the Zoom room. And a reminder that to join the Zoom room, if you haven't already, there is a yellow Join Zoom button at the bottom. If you scroll down underneath the presentation, underneath your video player screen, click on that to join the Zoom room. My colleague Dennis is in that room moderating. When we get to the live verbal questions, raise your hand in the Zoom room, and when it's your turn, Dennis will call on you, unmute your microphone, and you'll be able to ask a question. MPP Stiles, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you for joining us. We'll just pause and give you a minute to thank you for joining us. I know you had a busy schedule today, but if you want to say a few words to our participants this evening.
Certainly, and I'm so sorry that I was I'm not able to join until now. I'm here at the Legislative Assembly. Hope I'm not cutting out, but I'm here at the Legislative Assembly of Ontario in my office at Queen's Park, and I just was just finished up debate on a bill, so I wanted to just drop by. My team and I have been out with some volunteers, helping to share more information with neighbors about what was going on, and I really appreciate the opportunity just to say hello and to thank Metrolinx for convening this session. Mostly, I want to just tell people that we have a number of similar projects to this happening across our riding, and my team and I are here to continue to also bring your voices forward. So if you have questions or concerns that come about as a result of this meeting or in the future, please reach out to my office and let us know so that we can continue to bring forward your issues and concerns and ideas to Metrolinx. We're really happy to be here to advocate for you. We're excited about the potential opportunities. And we know that there are many questions in the community. I know this from having knocked on your doors in the last month or so and heard from some of you. And I'm really hoping that many of your questions do get answered today. But there will continue to be questions. So please just keep in mind that my office is here. My assistant, Peter Gaddy, who's I think been on this Zoom or this consultation, this conference already this evening. He's also going to continue to participate, and that's what we're here for, to bring forward your ideas and your issues and concerns, and be that link to Metrolinx and in between meetings like this one. So again, hope that we get some answers to your questions today, but keep them coming. And thank you to Metrolinx and the city for putting this together.
Thank you, MPP Stiles. I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So with that, we're going to move to our written questions, and we're going to start with the first question. And this question is for our project manager, Julie. Julie, if you're on the line, I'll read the question. Will train bells ring at this station? We're concerned about disturbance of train bells when the trains enter and exit the new station. There was a message back in June of 2018 saying that they were working towards Bell alternative initiatives. What alternatives are being considered? Can you provide an update?
Hi, yes, sure. As per the Federal Rail Safety Act and the Canadian Rail Operating Rules, trains are required to ring their bells upon entry into the station and when leaving the station and in emergency situations. This is a safety requirement that we have to abide by. That being said, we are looking into bell cessation measures. The station is being protected for these future bell cessation measures, which is based on a pilot project we have ongoing on the Up Express at the Bloor and Weston GO stations. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Julie.
No problem.
I have another question here, and I believe this one is going to be for Edward at the city. Just scrolling up, and I'm just looking. We have actually a few different questions that I'm going to bundle together, and it's all related to the West Toronto Rail Path. So there's a few questions here, Edward. How is the progress on plans to extend the West Toronto Rail Path, or will it extend? Are there other plans for bike paths? How are you basically going? What's the connection for the rail path to, in regards to this station?
Hi, everyone. The West Toronto Rail Path will basically extend from Osler and Davenport to through the TMP area. So Davenport will be extended as the Davenport extension over St. Clair, connecting through Union. Union is going to be improved. And then it's going to go up to Guns Road. And Guns Road will continue west under the rail corridor to Weston Road. So that improvement will be a multi-use path for cyclists as well as new sidewalks. So active transportation will be accommodated in this area. The West Toronto Rail Path, it will also be improved in that the city plans to change the Davenport between Osler and Old Weston Road to a bi-directional cycle track with a protected intersection at Osler and Davenport. So the new bi-directional segment will align existing Davenport with the Davenport extension.
Thank you, Edward. The next question is for Krista from sponsors. Can the station name be different? For example, Stockyards would be a better name for the station and would avoid duplication of the St. Clair TTC and Weston GO stations. Krista?
Okay, yes, thank you. So discussions are currently underway to determine how the SmartTrack stations will be named once completed.
So it's just a little bit too soon right now, but as we progress, we'll make sure to keep people up to date on that. I would suggest signing up for the newsletter at Metrolinx/subscribe, the Toronto West newsletter, and you can keep up to date on things like that. The next question I have is overnight construction. And Julie, I think maybe you can answer that one. What is the current plan to minimize overnight construction?
Yeah, it's a good question. We had it on King Liberty as well. It's an important question and one that we take very seriously. It can be extraordinarily annoying and impactful to people who are living beside the construction. This is a very busy section of the rail corridor. There's two separate railways, so there's CP and Metrolinx tracks, so that all has to be coordinated. Unfortunately, there will be night works, there will be weekend works, there will be evening works. We're going to try and only do it when absolutely necessary. And when we do it, you will be given ample notice of that it's coming up, and there will be mitigation strategies in place. We will also be monitoring the noise and the vibration throughout the construction, the duration of the construction, and any exceedancies. We'll shut it down if we need to. We will look at additional mitigation strategies. We'll make sure that it's the least impact to you as possible.
And I like from the engagement perspective that we will provide ample notice about construction so that residents in the area have notification ahead of time when work is taking place. Okay, Thank you. Our next question is for Allison with the city. There's two questions here, and it's about, will there be any green space or public amenities planned? This area is lacking public parks, green space, public seating, and aesthetic features. And there was also kind of the second question that was around green space. Give me a second to find it. Was kind of about encouraging pollinators, things like that. So public amenities and green space in and around the station area. Can you answer that question?
Sure. Thank you, Nilgan. So to answer the question first about the station, the actual station design, the station design will be providing public plazas adjacent to the station entrances, as well as circulation throughout the station area, bicycle parking, landscaping, and pedestrian connections. As well, in the surrounding area, as mentioned by the local councillors, there is the local Keele St. Clair area study and their proposed draft secondary plan policies, which are now available for public review and comment. So as part of those draft policies, there are a number of initiatives to enhance the public realm and green space in the area as it's expected to change and redevelop in the future. So some of the key features, there's something called what's right now being called the Transit Plaza Focal Point, which is the idea of a central sort of community destination on the station block to provide, and across the street. So to provide outdoor public spaces for community programming and activities, both on the east and west sides of Union Street. As well, the policies speak to greater connections to enhance the network of open spaces in the area under the hydro corridor to connect some of the natural spaces and parks. So that the idea is to then connect the trail system with Lavender Creek Trail, as people have mentioned, under the rail corridor, and really extend the connection from Lavender Creek to the Sadra Park Trail system. And as well as there is future redevelopment, there would be new parks and open spaces that would be secured. So there's a number of opportunities both for sort of increased screening. There could be future conversations about the type of greening and naturalization, as well as other types of public realm and open spaces. Thank you.
Thanks, Allison. Our next question is for David, our technical advisor. I have two questions here that are about access from St. Clair Avenue West. So how will the station be designed to ensure easy and accessible pedestrian access from the 512 St. Clair streetcar? And just generally, how easily accessible will the station be from St. Clair Avenue West?
Great, thanks, Nilgan. Those are very good questions. Could we pull up slide number 18, please? So when we were looking at widening St. Clair, there were a number of options that were considered. So given the physical constraints of being able to widen St. Clair Avenue, really the limit is 6 lanes. So if we were to put a streetcar stop right underneath the rail corridor and have a direct access up between the two, we would not be able to provide the second traffic lane in each direction. So widening it any further than that to try and have 4 lanes of traffic and streetcar islands makes the road too wide for the bridge to have enough clearance for the cars to get underneath and to tie back in at Weston Road. So we found there was no physical way to actually put the streetcar stop at the bottom. The other challenge is a fully loaded streetcar would have a challenge getting up the hill towards the west, given the grades on the road. So if we could jump to slide 21. The connections will be to the existing streetcar stops, both at Old Weston Road and Weston Road. So to facilitate those, we're doing a number of things. So to get from the station, come out the main entrance onto Union Street, you'll have 2 options to get to the east at Old Weston Road. So we're looking at upgrading the sidewalk on the north side of Townsley out to Old Weston Road and down to that stop. There'll also be a ramp and a sidewalk on from the Davenport Road Bridge down to St. Clair Avenue on both the north side of the street and the south side of the street. So these will be accessible public walkways that are well lit and well maintained. Similarly, on the west side, we're looking at implementing a pathway connecting from the south end of the westernmost platform down and ramping along the north side of St. Clair to come close to the intersection of St. Clair and Weston to the streetcar stop on the west side. And we're willing to work with the developer on the south side of the street to put a connection in that fourth quadrant. So unfortunately, we can't get the streetcars and the trains any closer together, but we are looking at creating a high quality connection between the two. In addition, some of the local bus routes will be rerouted to run through the bus loop. So as a fallback, there is also the option of connecting. I know it's an additional transfer, but there would be the option to get on one of the buses directly at the station and take that down to St. Clair Avenue at either Weston or Old Weston, depending on which route, and make the transfer. So I hope that answers the question.
David, and if you can stay on the line, because I think this next question is for you as well. And it's about, will the construction of the station be coordinated with the City of Toronto's Guns Road extension, which will cross under the rail corridor to reduce disruption? And probably are you there? Generally about the transportation master plan.
Sure, Nilgan, that's a great question as well. So yes, the intention is that it will be one construction contract that will build the rail station and do all of the transportation master plan activities that we've been talking about. If we could go back to slide 21. So we found in trying to plan the station that if we are going to improve St. Clair Avenue, we need to do it at the same time as we're building the station. Once the station is in place and there are platforms there, it's much harder to shift the tracks around in order to replace the St. Clair Bridge. So we will be doing the St. Clair Bridge replacement and the road widening in order to facilitate the station. What we also found was at the north end, the Guns Road grade separation really wants to be done at the same time as well. So the intention is to have one contract, one contractor do the station work, the St. Clair widening, the Davenport extension, the Union Street upgrade, and the Guns Road extension all together. That way it's coordinated and the construction is put together well. So that will speed up the time that's involved in making all of those changes happen.
Thanks, David. And I think this next question is for you, so hang in there. And there's a couple questions, so I'm going to try to bundle them together. So bear with me for a second here. So the first of the bundle is, will Metrolinx replace the sound walls currently separating the Brickworks laneway from the train tracks? Will it be the same quality or superior to what is currently there? And just give me a second to scroll. These questions are coming in real time, so I do apologize. And the question was, how close will the train platform be to the current sound wall?
So great, Doug, and those are some very interesting questions, and we're working through those answers. If we could pull up slide number 16. So as you can imagine, we need to pull the tracks a little bit further apart to be able to install the platform so that we can have the train stop at this station. So we've looked at maximizing the space we have here. We have CP on the east side of the rail corridor, which has one track today and protection for a second track. And then there are going to be 4 Metrolinx tracks as well as 3 platforms. That does not fit within the Metrolinx owned right-of-way that's there today. So what we're going to be doing is the platforms are going to accordion out and extend a little bit further west. So the westernmost track will move about 8 meters further west, and the westernmost platform will sit about where the existing noise wall is. So we're working with the landowners now to look at the greens, the grassy slope between the laneway down the back of the townhouses and up to the noise wall, to take that land so that we can put the platform in that space. And instead of having a wooden noise wall, we're looking at a concrete wall, which would be required both for crash protection if there were ever to be an unfortunate train derailment in the area, to protect the local community. But what that will also do is provide better sound protection and better protection against other things happening at the station, like announcements and lighting. The challenge is when we are doing this is the height of the wall needs to be determined based on how far away some of the freight trains are relative to that wall, and we're still working through those details operationally. We believe that the crash wall will be at least as high as the existing noise wall, and it may be a little bit higher. The challenge comes in that the higher we make the wall, the better that will be in terms of controlling light and sound from the rail corridor to the townhouses, but at a certain point it starts to block the long view over top of the wall and out to the east. So we have to get a little further in the technical discussion and then sit down with the community and see which trade-off is more acceptable. Would you like to keep the view, or would you like to have it so that it completely blocks noise and light? We're also looking at making sure that the lighting underneath the canopies lights down onto the platforms and doesn't generally light up the area. Similarly, in the bus loop, we would be looking at lighting down onto the passenger waiting area in the roadway rather than lighting up the whole area. So we are very conscious of light and sound that's generated by the station. And as we get further in, we'll have some focus meetings to try and share those ideas with the community to try and find the best solution.
Thanks, David. And I think you actually answered another question that was already in there about the way the lights will be on the platform. So thank you for that. The next question, I have two questions here about expropriations. I'm going to bundle them together, and I think actually I'm going to go ahead and be the one who's responding to that one. So the first question was, what is the impact for people who have their land expropriated? And when are the residents affected by the construction of the Davenport Road extension going to be given clear and concise timelines for property acquisition? So I'll take that in two parts. The acquisition of land is going to be required for the construction of the new SmartTrack station and to implement the transportation master plan. That said, the details have not yet been fully confirmed, as we've kind of alluded to previously. We're only at 30% reference concept design. We are trying to minimize the impact to property owners, and individual property owners will be contacted, and we will discuss that directly with those property owners. We don't typically discuss individual property impacts in the public forum, as you can understand. Specific to the transportation master plan and the Davenport Road extension, these things are still being coordinated. But we are expecting that the impacted owners will be notified in early 2022. Okay, the next question I have is for Krista. Krista, this is a question about what are the current plans for fare integration?
Right. So future fare setting decisions will be considered within the broader context of regional fare integration. And the province and Metrolinx will continue to work or engage the city, including TTC and other municipal partners, to develop a regional fare integration framework and associated measures to ensure a seamless travel experience throughout the broader region.
Thanks, Krista. David, I think this next question I'm going to direct to you. And it's about both GO trains and Up Express service. So will both GO trains and Up Express trains stop here? Will they be running every 15 minutes? Will the platforms have two different heights for both trains?
So thanks, Nilghan. Those are great questions. So in looking at the operations through this area, we did find that there's a significant benefit to serving all four of the tracks with platforms. That'll serve both the Kitchener trains and future services that come through here. Right now, there's no immediate plans for the Up Express to stop here, but in future, there may be other services that are offered here. The other advantage of serving all four tracks with platforms is operational. So if there are delays or issues elsewhere in the network, we can put trains on other tracks. That will also help us during the electrification construction to provide flexibility. So we've designed all of the platforms to be at the low level height, but we've also protected for future level boarding on all of the platforms. So if a train like the Up Express or if Metrolinx moves to level boarding, we can convert all of the platforms to be able to serve that with minimal change to the station.
Thanks, David. Edward, I think this next question I'm going to pose to you, and it's a couple questions that I'm going to bundle together. So what is the impact on traffic in the area? What will be done about the increase in traffic? And will left turn lights be implemented in Old Weston and St. Clair to accommodate increased traffic?
Just unmuted, thank you. So the Transportation Master Plan reviewed local road improvements and recommended a suite of changes, including the widening of St. Clair, the extension of Davenport Road, and the extension of Guns Road. All the recommendations for these road improvements will be included in the project. Existing left-hand turn lanes will be maintained, but the Transportation Master Plan works will help to alleviate congestion and improve traffic flow.
Thanks, Edward. Krista, this question I think is for you. Is Metrolinx taking steps to limit automated announcements broadcast at this station to minimize disturbance to local residents?
Okay, well, platform announcements are a critical way for us to keep our customers informed of service-related information, providing them with important safety reminders, and making it as easy as possible for all of our customers to ride with us by supporting the requirements of the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act and the French Language Services Act. And so the frequency of these announcements aligns with our service. However, we do our best to take into consideration the impacts of volume and frequency of announcements on the surrounding community while adhering to both AODA and FLSA requirements.
Thanks, Krista. This next question I have here is for Julie, our project manager. It is, sorry, just lost my space. Okay, what is the approximate timeline? And I appreciate the wording of this. When are we expected to be able to ride this puppy?
My favorite question of the night. It's awesome. We are looking at and anticipating construction starting in the fall of next year. And so that's fall of 2022 with construction complete, anticipated in 2026. So ridership, and you should be able to ride that puppy right around that time in 2026.
Thanks, Julie.
No problem.
Krista, this question I'm going to pose to you, and it's about green energy. Will solar panels be put on the roof of all the GO stations? Will wind turbines be installed on the GO station properties? So
okay,
maybe
well,
we can talk specifically about this station.
Yeah, I was just going to say I can respond to that question within the context of this station. So solar panels and wind turbines are not being contemplated for the station. However, the new station will meet Metrolinx design standards to achieve LEED version 4 silver certification at a minimum, though we are pursuing gold certification at this station.
Thank you. We have a couple more questions here and then we're going to move to the Zoom room. Edward, this question I want to pose to you, and I'm going to bundle it because there's a couple questions here about active transportation and safe biking routes. It would be great to see station connect with existing bike lanes and cycling infrastructure.
Okay, so the simple answer is active transportation will be much improved in the area. Can you bring up slide number 12, please? Thank you. So starting from the bottom right corner, you'll see the black lines connecting from Old Weston Road, and that's the Davenport extension. And that Davenport extension passes over St. Clair, connecting to Union, which is an existing street. And then the Guns extension is at the top left corner. It's the black lines connecting west or to the right, connecting over to Guns and Weston Road. So that whole section of roads will form active transportation improvements through a multi-use path and new sidewalks. And the multi-use path, the safety of that will be that it's not part of the road system. It's part of the road system, but it's not part of the paved road. It's just to the side of it, and it will form a continuous path connecting the southeast to the northwest. And then also through the station property, there will be opportunities to walk through it, connecting up to Guns and Weston Road, and also to push your bike through to get to the street system.
Thanks, Edward. I think David wanted to add something.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that I was at a conference and had the pleasure of listening to the chief architect of Barcelona. And he was talking about things like what we're doing here, like what we've done at 6 Points out at Dundas, Kipling, Bloor, for those who know the area, what's been done at the Dufferin Jog elimination down at Queen and Dufferin. And that's a concept called urban acupuncture. And the idea is to look for these pinch points or pain points in the network, where we have a Lavender Creek Trail, which comes to an end at Weston Road. We have a Sadra Trail, which comes to an end at Union Street. We have Davenport, which comes to an end at Old Weston. And so the streets are discontinuous, in part because of the railway corridor, in part because of the way the city developed. So the intention of this whole project is to try to have a great big acupuncture session here to look at connecting east-west pathways across the Sadra Trail to Lavender Creek, connecting Guns Road across underneath the rail corridor, widening St. Clair so that we have more capacity across the corridor, connecting north-south by connecting the north end of the West Toronto Rail Path to these pathways that are going to connect up to Guns and eventually further north. So I really think we need to sort of think of it in that context, that these two projects are going to be transformational to this neighborhood, but are also going to have benefits to the wider neighborhood of taking some pressure off St. Clair to serve everything moving east-west, and some pressure off of Weston Keele to serve all the north-south travel. So I think that's what I just wanted to add to the conversation.
Thanks, David. That's really helpful. I'm going to pause there on the written questions because we've kind of gone through half our time for Q&As, and I'm going to turn it over to Dennis in the Zoom room. Dennis, are you there?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Nilghan.
Hi, Dennis. Do we have any verbal questions or raised hands in the Zoom room?
We have 2 raised hands and 3 verbal questions. So I will go through 2 raised hands first.
Okay.
Kent Angel, go ahead.
Great, thanks so much. And thank you everyone for the information tonight. Really helpful and really exciting to see how things are coming along. My questions are more of a follow-up, going back to the first question about bell ringing at the station. And I'm wondering, Julie, if you're able to provide a bit more information about, and I believe you mentioned, and forgive me if I misinterpreted, but that the station will be designed to protect for bell cessation, or there will be bell cessation measures. So I'm wondering if you could unpack a little bit about what that means. And then secondly, if more information can be shared about the current pilot at the Up Express station at Bloor, and how is that pilot working, and if the results of that pilot will be shared publicly once available.
Julie, do you want me to take that one, or is that okay with you, Julie, or you're muted?
Sorry. Silly mute button. Yeah, sure, Nilghan, just a little bit of additional information. It's being protected from a technology perspective. So it will be like new technologies that are like CCTV and additional PA and AI componentry. That is what we're looking at and is what is being investigated. My understanding is this pilot project is just getting underway now. And Nilghan, I'll pass it over to you for any additional information there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the pilot is just in its infancy, and it's going to be implemented at the Weston and Bloor GO stations. What I was going to suggest is if you could send an email to torontowest@metrolinx.com, then I can follow up with you on the specific details of the pilot, because we don't have anyone on the call today who is who can speak, with that intimacy of that pilot project. So please send an email and we will follow up with you tomorrow to connect you with some more information specific to the pilot itself. But I think Julie explained it nicely that the passive production is about, understanding that a pilot is going to be underway and that there will be some key findings from that pilot. But we want to make sure that the stations that we're designing now are protected to implement them, whatever the results of the pilot tell us. So I know that's not the most perfect answer, but I'm happy to follow up with you afterwards. Thank you.
Secondly, we have Mr. Andrew Patton.
Mr. Patton, go ahead.
Hi there, thank you. Yeah, thanks to everyone for the great presentation, and Mara, nice to see you as well. So I'm representing a group in the local community that's really pushing for community gardens and pollinator spaces and more green space and more accessible space. And I'm wondering if it's possible to show where this proposed green space is going on the map. The answer was good and made it sound like there was lots of space, but looking at the map, it doesn't appear that there's any dedicated space for landscaping or community area or even pollinator space. There was a large section allocated for private development, and there's a lot of roads, but it doesn't appear that there's any green space on that map that I could see. Maybe you can show me.
Allison, I don't know if you can kind of take that. I think probably because the maps are really specific to the station, but I think what Allison was alluding to was the larger kind of area, the block. I don't know, Allison, if there's anything you can.
Maybe I can step in as well.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, bylaw. Andrew, we do have a draft secondary plan that will address a lot of the issues that you were talking about and the location for parks. And we will be having a public meeting early in the new year about that draft plan. So we'll talk about all the development and how it will happen, and all these things will come together. So I don't think we have the maps for anything outside the station here today. It's part of that secondary plan, which according to the Planning Act, we'll have to have a public meeting as well. And we want to get the community engaged. And we can send you the report, by the way. We'll send you an email with the report so you can take a look in advance.
Just to add to that, I think if people want the link to the report, it will also be added, I think, to the meeting notes following the meeting. So there is a map that shows kind of the broader public realm network and proposals for new parks, where ideas for where the parks can be connected and things like that. So I think that's probably the best to look at that versus some of the station plans that we have here today. But I think you'll find that looking at that and the draft policies will help answer some of those questions.
Thank you. Dennis, do we have any other questions in the Zoom room?
We have one more hand up from Hayden.
Hayden, go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. This might be a more technical question, actually. So Metrolinx has proposed to build 4 platforms at this station, and as we know, many cities where there are 4 tracks for express and local service, only 2 platforms are built. Why does the Sinclair or Western need 4 platforms and even widening the right of way for Metrolinx to serve 4 tracks? Why not just build 2 platforms and save money for more smart track stations? As you know, like when building transit, we always come from organization before electronics, before concrete. So is there any organization limitation and electronic limitation that force Metrolinx to build more platforms?
So sure, I'll start that one. So there are operational considerations in the way that the tracks are allocated and the way the trains are operated from Union Station out to past the airport. So what we're proposing is there is an island platform to the east to serve the eastern two-most tracks, which will be primarily in the longer term, the inbound and outbound Kitchener trains. There will also be a side platform to serve track 3 and a side platform to serve track 4. Instead of having 2 island platforms, we've had to go to this 3-platform configuration because of physical constraints in the neighborhood with the curvature in the track to the north and the West Toronto Diamond to the south to be able to put in 2 island platforms. So the other 2 platforms will allow for other future services, whether that's via rail, whether that's an airport service, whether that is another commuter rail service that's added. We're not sure yet, but it'll be there for that future use. But also during the electrification program, there will be times when some tracks are not available. So the intention is to have those 2 platforms so that we can serve this station all the way through the implementation of electrification and beyond. So it was an operational decision that was taken early on that there's significant benefits here to having a platform to serve each of the 4 tracks. And so that's the direction that we've received from senior management in order to both make the station as accessible as possible and protect for as many future options as we can.
Thanks, David. Dennis?
Now we have a written question from Stephen Coella. And Stephen would like to know where you could post a draft policies that were just mentioned in relation to the green space and where are they available?
The one about the planning study area. Can you, Allison, can you articulate the web page? Is it do you have a short URL for that?
Sure, just one second. It's if you Google Keel St. Clair Local Area Study, it'll come up.
Oh, I think I have it. Is it, please don't quote me on this until Allison confirms, toronto.ca/Keel St. Clair, all one word?
I think so, yeah. That should get you there.
And we will put that into the answers on this. So if you come back next week to this webpage, then we'll make sure that that link is there as well for you, okay? Okay, Dennis, is there another question?
Our next question was anonymous.
Okay.
And they would like to know if the presenters can show where the green space is going to be on the map, because it wasn't clear to them.
I think we answered that question. So I think we answered that question verbally. So it's kind of part and parcel of the planning study that's for the secondary plan that's underway. So anything else in the Zoomer?
Yes. Our final question is from Tristan Poon. And he would like to know how the station design protects for the future Bolton goal line.
Bolton goal line? Sorry, could you repeat that?
Sure. How does the station design protect for the future Bolton goal line?
I'm not sure about that.
So Nilgan, I can just take that one at a high level. So that is one of the future opportunities that the 3-platform 4-service track here may protect for. So we know that the Milton or the Bolton corridor does use part of the McTier sub. So in long range planning, that's one of the things we would look to protect for. So I don't know that we're specifically protecting exactly for that right now, but that is something that Metrolinx internally and their operations group are looking at and seeing how that might fit in. So that is one potential service that could use some of the other platforms here.
Thank you. Anything else in the Zoom room, Dennis?
I do see another hand up from Kent Angel. I'm just wondering if that is an old hand or if Kent has a new question.
Let's give him a minute too. Kent, do you have another?
Yes, no, thank you so much. Yes, just one further follow-up question going back to the bell ringing. I'm curious too, if we could clarify, is Metrolinx currently working with the federal government and Transport Canada and looking at bell cessation alternatives?
So I think I can follow up with you on that one offline, but I think the work that's being done is through the pilot, and I don't want to misspeak about it. So Ken, if you don't mind, please just shoot me that email and I'm happy to connect you with the correct information. Yes, MPP Stiles, did you want to say something?
Well, I had a meeting with the CEO of Metrolinx just a few weeks ago and was told quite explicitly that no pilot project has begun. But I was given some reassurances that there were efforts being made to look into other alternatives to bell ringing. But I do just want to flag that I am working on this issue, and I'll, if anybody else who's on this Zoom wants to contact my office, I can bring you into the loop a little bit more on some of our advocacy around this.
Thank you, MPP Stiles. I do appreciate that as well. If
I could just add one more thing. This has been a request approved by council for Metrolinx actually to look into this issue. We do recognize that this is an issue that our community has been facing for quite some time, because we have the Up Express station at Bloor and Perth, but it will be an issue in all these stations. So there has been a motion that I've put at council, and it was unanimously approved to ask for cooperation on this issue, and we'll continue to be at it. So it's definitely not for our advice, and that this is going to become a very big issue in all these stations. So I think that we've all communicated this quite clearly.
Yeah, 100%.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We are going to be wrapping up. I have one more question here that I want to pose, and it is for Edward. And I've lost my question. Sorry, one moment here. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this question, Edward, is about bike lanes in the underpass. So since the station is being built together with the underpass on St. Clair, can you please work to have bike lanes on St. Clair Avenue West? Cycling through the underpass without bike lanes can be unsafe and scary. Since St. Clair is being widened anyways, why not widen it slightly more for bike lanes?
Thank you for that question. So during the Transportation Master Plan, we considered bike lanes on St. Clair, and because there are no existing bike lanes or planned bike lanes on St. Clair, both east and west of the study area, we didn't include them. Now, our designs are at a point now, they're pretty advanced, so that including them might not or likely will not be possible.
Okay, so it's just a matter, we have to see still. Okay, thank you. I'm just looking to see if.
So Nilghan, I would just add to that there will be a multi-use pathway on the Guns Road underpass. So it's not exactly at St. Clair, but it does provide a relatively close alternate to using St. Clair rather than walking your bike on the sidewalk, to cycle up to Guns and carry on that pathway. And then Guns Road would take you to the Lavender Creek Trail or loop you back down to St. Clair Avenue to the west, and it would bring you around out Townsley down to Old Weston Road to carry on further east on St. Clair Avenue, as well as down Davenport to the West Toronto Rail Path. So while it's not ideal that it's not directly on St. Clair, which our engineering work is showing is going to be very challenging to widen any further to provide those, there are some solutions in the community which will improve the situation somewhat.
Thank you. So it's good to understand that there's kind of where the alternative east-west biking corridors are. I'm looking at the time, it's 7:55. We've gone through quite a number of questions. There was a couple in our written submissions that we're not going to be able to get to this evening, but please rest assured that we will follow up in writing for those questions. I want to thank our panel this evening. You've been really great. Appreciate the time and effort and preparation for this meeting. I'd like to thank our participants for asking really, really good questions and for your time and this evening as well. And last but not least, I want to thank our elected officials. So we have Councillor Nunziata on the phone, MPP Stiles and Deputy Mayor Bailão. I will just give an opportunity if any of the elected officials have any closing words or remarks. I will give you guys that opportunity. Maybe Deputy Mayor, do you want to say any final words or?
Just to thank everybody for being here, and I know that there's quite a bit of interest on our secondary plan for the area as well. So we will be promoting it widely. It was just at Planning and Housing Committee, so it's just been released, and we know that there's quite a bit of change to the area because there's transit, like we said, there's jobs because we want to maintain employment in the area. There's more housing, community services, green spaces, and so it's important that we do all this and we do it well. I know that it's been a series of meetings that the community has been having with all these different things, but it is coming together. I hope that people feel excited about the work that is being done in this neighborhood.
Thank you. MPP Stiles, did you want to say any final words?
Well, I just want to thank everybody who was answering the questions, but also everybody who joined us this evening. As I mentioned at the beginning, a lot of the questions that came up today were a big surprise because I know we've been hearing, I've been hearing similar things, questions about traffic, about bells, about green space, and all kinds of things like that on my walks around the community. But I do think there are still some unanswered questions that we will all seek to work together on to get answers. And just to again sort of tell the community, this is the first meeting. There will be more, and again in the interim, please, it's important that we continue as your elected representatives, Anna and I, to be able to bring forward your issues, concerns, and ideas. So just get in touch with our offices, please, and we'll do our very best to try to move some of those issues, concerns, and ideas forward. Thank you very much again to Metrolinx and the city.
Thank you, MPP. Councillor Nunziata, are you there on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Did you want to give some final closing remarks?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you want to go ahead?
Sorry, first of all, I want to thank everyone that participated in tonight's meeting. A lot of good questions. I'm sure that if you have any other questions or concerns that you can write to us. You can write to Councillor Bailão's office or my office or city staff or Metrolinx. You do have the link. And as it was mentioned, the bike lanes, we've heard a lot about that during our planning study consultation as well. We were trying to get bike lanes on St. Clair Avenue from Scarlett Road to Weston Road, which we put a proposal in a while ago. So hopefully we can work with transportation on getting that extension from Scarlett Road to St. Clair. And with the number of applications that are coming in as well with the green space and open space, there are a lot of opportunities and recommendations that have been brought forward for creating green space, gardens, community gardens. So there's a great opportunity. So I would encourage everyone to attend any future meetings that are being held, and as well connect with any future meetings on the transportation plan and the St. Clair planning study, because a lot of it is connected, and as it was mentioned, a lot of that work is going to be done at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nunziata, and thank you to all the elected officials, and once again to our participants and our panelists and our AV people as well. So I wish everyone a good evening, and we will be talking to you soon. Have a great night.